Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, welcome,
Good
welcome to the
morning.
first day of November.
All
Yes,
right.
we are
Yes.
coming into the holiday season. Yes,
Very
yes.
good.
Ah, oh my goodness. Okay. So, what a wonderful day to be alive. And we had storm behind us. I understand there's sunshine all the rest of this week. So,
Yeah.
enjoy. Mike, how about
Right.
getting started?
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I want to thank you for joining us in this spirit of perfect harmony. We are the Center for Spiritual Living, West Georgia. We study and practice the philosophy and science of the mind we know as God. And with our spiritual presence and our participation in our service this morning, we create a higher state of consciousness, rise above any negative energy that has prevailed this past week, and manifest love. Love is synonymous to God. Our Reverend Dr. Sandra Jackson has been keeping us informed throughout the past week and will now conduct our service. Reverend?
Okay. Thank you, Mike. Good morning, everybody. All right. So, what do you know right now? You know that you are one with God, right? And you know that God is everywhere present, that there is no place where God is not, that God shows up as you in every moment of every day. So, we are coast to coast. Coco is in California, Zizi's in Nevada, and we're in Georgia. And so we are fully and completely embracing all over the country. And so let's just turn within now and know the truth that right where we are, God is. That there is no place that God is not. That its spirit, its presence, its energy, its aliveness is within, through, and as all that is. It is the very life that we live. It is the life of everyone and everything that lives. And so we are knowing in this moment that this is the truth. It unites us. It reminds us that we are one. We are one with spirit, and therefore we are one with one another. All illusions of separation disappear in this moment now as we allow ourselves to fully and completely embrace our oneness, our unity, our wholeness, and the very life that we live. And so, as we begin this service today, we are knowing that this is the truth of who and what we are. And so, therefore, where we are, who we are in perfect divine order and harmony with the life of God as us. And so, as we hope it open our hearts and our minds into the realization of this truth, we allow it to be the very guiding light and understanding and wisdom that is growing, expanding, and being that which we are. And so it is with this knowingness and this receptivity that we begin today's service. It is with this understanding that we open our hearts to the message, that we hear what it is that we are here to hear, that it nourishes our spirit, it nourishes our life, and allows us to be more than we could possibly ever begin to think of being, because we are recipients of the divine knowingness and the divine love. And so it truly is. Amen. Okay, good morning. All right. Hey, Ajka, Deborah, you guys snuck in on us. Yeah, I love it. All right. So let us have our vision and mission with Marcia and our declaration of principles.
Good morning.
Good morning.
CSL West Georgia is a joyful global community where everyone belongs. Through our unique spiritual teachings, we provide a safe environment to experience compassionate living. In our declaration of principles, I believe in the unity of all life and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. There is one life which I am a part, one intelligence, which I use, one substance, which takes form as my life.
Okay, so leads us into our music. And today our music is done from the West Coast. Coco is singing for us. And I'll just introduce her for those of you who don't know her. She's a longtime friend of mine. She used to sing at our church in California. She and Zizi both were soloists there. And we have all been friends through the years. And it is so wonderful to have her singing to us from her brand new home in California. So Coco, take it away. Take it away.
This is, I'm going to do a song. You told me that this month was about compassion.
Yep.
What's the title again?
Is the title? You want me to tell you the title?
I thought you said something about compassion.
Yeah.
And then today was about divine
authority to choose.
There we go. So I found a song that I've done a few times that a lady named Nancy LaMont did. I think she even wrote it. And I think this will really fit in well. We're not sure how the sound's going to sound, but we're going to give it a shot. Okay? So this is called We Can Be Kind. And my accompanist, Alex, sent me a track. So we're going to see if this works. Can you hear that?
Yep.
Yes or no?
We're all muted, so yes.
Okay. So many things I can't control. So many hurts that happen every day. So many heartaches that pierce the soul. So much pain that won't ever go away. But how do we make it better? How do we make it through? What can we do when there's nothing we can do? Well, we can be kind. We can take care of each other. We can remember that deep down inside, we all need the same thing. And I know we will find, if we are there for each other, that together we'll weather whatever tomorrow may bring. Now nobody really wants to fight. Nobody really wants to go to war. If everyone wants to make things right, then what are we always fighting for? Does nobody want to see it? Does nobody understand? The power to heal is right here in our hand. And we can be kind. We can take care of each other. We can remember that deep down inside we all need the same thing. And maybe we'll find, if we are there for each other, together we'll weather whatever tomorrow may bring. And it's not enough to talk about it, not enough to sing a song. We must walk the walk about it. You or I, you and I, do or die. We've got to learn to get along. We can be kind. We can take care of each other. We can remember that deep down inside we all need the same thing. And maybe we'll find, If we are here for each other, together we'll weather whatever tomorrow may bring. And maybe we'll find true peace of mind if we always remember that we can be kind. Did it come out okay?
Yes, it came out beautifully. Yes.
Yeah, great song.
And a great song and a great message. Yes. It's so simple, right? We can be kind.
It's so simple.
It's so simple. Yes.
Just
Thank you
be
so
nice
much.
to each other. What the heck?
Yeah. Okay. What do we got to lose? Yeah, just unhappiness. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Oh, I want to share something real quick. Yesterday, I was thinking about this song, and singing along in the car and stuff. And somebody was trying to get in, this is LA, okay, traffic. And so somebody was trying to pull in, and I let them go. And they looked at me like they were astonished. It was like, really? You're letting me in? And I just gave
be kind. See, you were practicing.
Exactly. But it was so nice to see what their response
was. Yeah, I'll bet. Okay. Lily, good morning. Okay, you're muted. Okay. You're still muted. Yeah.
Unmute.
Yeah, there you go.
Can you hear me now? Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. The reading today is from Parables by Megan McKenna. There was a woman who wanted peace in the world and peace in her heart and all sorts of good things, but she was very frustrated. The world seemed to be falling apart. She would read the papers and get depressed. One day she decided to go shopping, and she went into a mall and picked a store at random. She walked in and was surprised to see Jesus behind the counter. She knew it was Jesus because he looked just like the pictures she'd seen on holy cards and devotional pictures. She looked again and again at him, and finally she got up the nerve and asked, "Excuse me, are you Jesus?" "I am." "Do you work here?" "No," Jesus said. "I own the store." "Oh, what do you sell in here?" "Oh, just about anything." "Anything?" "Yeah, anything you want. What do you want?" She said, "I don't know." "Well," Jesus said, "feel free, walk up and down the aisles, make a list, see what it is you want, and then come back and we will see what we can do for you." So she did just that. She walked up and down the aisles. There was peace on earth, no more war, no hunger or poverty, peace in families, no more drugs, harmony, clean air, careful use of resources. She wrote furiously. By the time she got back to the counter, she had a long list. Jesus took the list, skimmed through it, looked up at her and smiled. "No problem," he said. And then he bent down behind the counter and picked out all sorts of things, stood up and laid out the packets. She asked, "What are these?" Jesus replied, "These are seed packets. This is a catalog store." She said, "You mean I don't get the finished product?" "No, this is a place of dreams. You come and you see what it looks like, and I give you the seeds. You plant the seeds, you go home and nurture them and help them to grow, and someone else reaps the benefit." "Oh," she said, and then she left the store without buying anything. And so it is. That was funny.
How often do we walk out of the store and not buy anything because it is too much work for us, right?
Yep.
So, but you expected that she was going to buy the stuff and go plant the seeds, didn't you? Okay, that's the trick there. Yeah, but that's what life is, right? We come into this life with seeds and we get to plant them and grow them, and you know, and it's not too late. No matter how old you are, no matter where you are in your life, you still have seeds to plant, to nourish, and to care for, and to grow into things that you desire. Today is, well, this month, Coco was talking about, this month we're talking about living a compassionate and wonderful life. And today is divine authority to choose compassion, to choose kindness, to choose being nice. You know, there was a time, you know, notice people don't use the word nice too much anymore. You know, do you notice that? You know, it's like, hardly you ever hear that word. I remember growing up, it's like, just be nice, you know, be nice. But we don't use that word so much anymore. So anyway, today is November 1st. It is Dia de los Muertos for the Latin communities, the Latin cultures around the world. And in English, that becomes Day of the Dead. And it's a day for remembering ancestors. And it's done by, you know, building altars and celebrations. I have a friend in California who is Mexican American. And one of the things she's doing today is, you know, putting pastries. They have special pastries that they put on the altar for their ancestors, and you know, so that they can be nourished in the afterlife. You know, for years they thought that Africans did ancestry worship, but they don't do ancestry worship. What they do is they believe that their ancestors are supporting them in their life now, and that they have come before them, and that their wisdom is passed down to, you know, to whoever is in the living form right now. Well, you know, for a long time, that was thought as something kind of strange and weird, and why would you do all of this kind of stuff, even though all cultures, you know, have ways of honoring their dead. But there's a lot of studies going on right now, and one of them is a book that came out by Mark Woolen, and it's called "It Didn't Start With You." And what we have found with DNA is that you have the physical manifestation, you know, from your previous ancestors, from your mother, your grandparents, and so forth and so on. But you also have cultural habits and customs and beliefs that are handed down along with your DNA. And so a lot of books right now are looking at how, you know, how these cultural things and the DNA have effect on who we are today. And so one of the things that we're talking about is your divine authority to choose. Most of us have come into this life and we have been given the kinds of things that we should think about, and the things we should be involved with, and the things we should do. For instance, you know, you'll find that doctors run in a family, right? You have a doctor, a father who's a doctor who wants his son to be a doctor, and he doesn't. And of course, previously girls weren't doctors, so the girls got to be nurses and the boys got to be doctors. Or, you know, people have ideas about what their children should be, and they kind of steer them in that direction, right? So when that's happening, guess what? You're not choosing for yourself. You're just following along with the family pattern. And most of us have done that with most of our lives. Okay, we have been given systems of thoughts and habits and behaviors that we just continue with. We've all probably heard about the fisherman who went fishing and he wasn't catching anything, but he noticed that there was another older man down, you know, a little ways down, maybe a couple of yards or something down, and he was catching a lot of fish, and he wasn't that far away. And so he's noticing that, you know, he'd catch the fish and he'd measure it by this stick, and then if it was bigger than the stick, he put it back in, and if it wasn't, then he put it in his bag. And he's like, he got real curious. Why is he doing this? So he goes over to the fisherman and he asked him, why are you doing this? Well, come to find out, the stick was a measure of how big the pan was that his wife could cook the fish in. You know, and so here we have, he's limiting his life, right? Now, we all know, get a bigger pan, right? Or give the fish away. You know, there's options that you have, but he has this limited way of thinking. And we all have that in some area of our life, okay? We look at the fishermen, we go, but each one of us in some area of our life, we are doing something very, very similar, okay? So we can't get too upset with him. We can laugh at him, but it's also, we're laughing at ourselves at the same time, aren't we? We often treat our relationships in that same unconscious kind of way. We have our friends, don't we? And then we have the friends that, you know, it's like, you know, I don't want to associate with that person too much. Or that person complains, so I don't want to talk to them. Or they're too negative and I don't want to be with them. Or they this, or they that, or they the other. We have our reasons, right, for separating and segregating out these people from those people. And so we're comfortable with the people who think like us and do the things that we do and enjoy the same kinds of things that we enjoy and go to the movies that we enjoy. And we can sit and talk to them about that. You know, they like to go to the same kind of restaurants and they all like Italian food or whatever. Okay. My cousin doesn't like Chinese food or Asian food. I love it. Okay. Every time we come here, when she comes, where do we go? If we go out to restaurants, where do we go to? We go to an Italian restaurant. Why? Because she doesn't like Chinese food. Okay. So things like that. Why is she not like Chinese food? Because she lived in New Jersey and I lived in California. We have lots of Chinese food in California. They don't have so much in Jersey. What do they have? Italian food, right? So we get in these habits of behavior and the way we think and behave, they just penetrate all parts of our lives. And we get into these things without even thinking about it. Remember when you first learned, anybody who doesn't drive a car here? Okay. Remember when you were learning to drive a car, you had to think about it, okay? I learned when I was in high school, in those days, they gave you lessons. It was part of the driving, class that you had for 6 weeks or whatever. And you had a book and you learned all the rules and everything. And then they take you out in the car with double driver's side, controls and whatever. And you got to go drive. And I see other people drive the same way. Nowadays, you have to figure that stuff out for yourself or get your kids your own driving classes. But I remember I learned how to drive a clutch. I had to think about everything. And see, when you drive a clutch, you have to learn to drive with what? 2 feet, both feet, because one is on the clutch and one is on the brake. And the brake foot also goes on the gas foot. So you got to remember which goes where at what time. And with the clutch, how fast you take it out, you could be jerking up. Or, you can learn to do it smoothly, but it takes time, right? And you're thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking. I get in my car now. I don't think about anything but the key. Okay, all right? Why? Because driving is habitual now. Do you see? It is something that I do. I don't have to think about whether I put my foot on the brake or the gas. If something happens and I need to stop fast, it's automatic. It just happens. I just do it, right? And we're all like that because if we've been driving for any length of time, it's automatic. We no longer think about it anymore. So we are no longer choosing. All we're choosing is to get in the car and go someplace. Do you see? We're not choosing how we're going to get there to do that. So it's good that we are able to remember things and have patterns of doing things. But there are times when we need to get out of those patterns. And that's what living a compassionate life is about, and being a conduit for compassion. Years ago, Karen Armstrong received a grant from TED, the TED award, TED Talks. They also have awards. And she got an award in 2007 for $100,000. And they said, what do you want to do with this? And so what she wanted to do was to study compassion. She said she wanted to work on building a global community in which people can live together in mutual respect. And yet, guess what always stands in the way? Religion. And see, Karen Armstrong has done a lot of books. Her study has been in religion, and she's done all kinds of stuff in religion. Anyway, she got a bunch of people from around the world. They're all over the globe. They come from all the various religions, and they did a very, very scholarly work. Karen Armstrong is a scholar, so it's very scholarly work. But what came out of their study is a book called 12 Steps to a Compassionate Life. And so what she found in the beginning is they went back and they looked at the origins of all the various religions. And guess what they found? Compassion is from the very beginning. And what's the basic compassionate idea? It is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And that is the reason why we find it in all religions. It is when people started thinking about how to live together, they thought about it in terms of living together compassionately. Living together compassionately. Can you imagine that? And this is not something, compassion is not something that's new. It's something that's been around for ages, ages and ages and ages. And in the rabbis, when they were organizing Judaism, I totally love this. They interpreted the Bible doctrine of creation, focusing on the fact that all human beings are made in God's image. That's what the beginning of the Bible is, right? Which is, I don't know if you know this, but the first few books of the Bible are the Torah from Judaism. Okay, so here's their idea. They said to show disrespect to anyone was therefore regarded as a denial of God himself and tantamount to atheism, and under which it was not just a simple crime against humanity, but a sacrilege. Think about that. Because we believe that we're all one. We believe each one of us is a divine expression of God. So if we believe that, when we interact with another person, who are we interacting with? Stop and think now. Stop and think. If you are divine, and all of us are divine, when you interact with another person, you are interacting with a divinity come into expression. There is no place that God is not. We all agreed about that at the beginning. I asked you and you agreed. Those of you that were here. Those of you that weren't here, well, agree now. Okay. We are all divine expressions. And if we are all divine, then if we are not being kind to one another, then we are committing a crime against what? Not just humanity, but God itself. That's what they're teaching. That's what the teaching is that's coming down through the ages. And yet we don't live it, do we? They found that there were 12 steps, and these are the 12 steps. The first one is learn about compassion. And as I go through this, what I notice is they're compatible with the science of mind and what we teach. Isn't that amazing? By the way, there is only 3 references to compassion in the textbook. Did you know that? Guess how many references to love? How many times love is mentioned? 92. Why do you think there's that difference? Because love is what we're supposed to do, and compassion is how we do it. So if we learn to love, we become what? Compassionate. So he says, they say the first step is learn about compassion. So for us, that's learn the science of mind principles and teachings. Learn what it is that we teach. Next, he says, they say, look at your own world. In other words, apply them to your own life. You know, when you're looking at your own world and applying these principles to your life, it's not about other people. It's like you have to start with yourself, right? You have to start, it begins with me acknowledging I am one with God. And if I am one with God, this is who I am. So there's an acknowledgement of ourselves, okay? And applying the principles, the teachings to your own life. The next is compassion for yourself. Love yourself. If you don't love yourself, guess what? You're not creating an environment where other people will love you. You're not creating a loving personality. You're not creating a love that is attracting other people to love you. The next one is empathy. That is care for others. Empathy is about caring for others. What is that? It's the principle of oneness. We've been talking about it all year. It's oneness and inclusivity. It's caring about one another. It's kindness. It's being kind. It's recognizing that there's a divine in everybody and looking for it and calling it forth. And I want to tell you, you can start doing this with other people that you know. They may continue to be the whoever they are to everybody else, but your relationship with them will change. I promise you, it has happened to me. Okay. Mindfulness is the next one. And that's about thinking consciously. It's about being aware of your thoughts and your feelings and paying attention to what's going on in your life. Okay. Being mindful of how you're living your life, how you're moving in the world, how you're relating to other people. Are you being empathetic? Are you being loving with yourself? Do you see? Action is the next step. And that's about living the principles. It's about walking the talk. How many times do we see people that we know that can, I mean, even science of mind, you see people who can spout the principles. I've studied this since the last 40 years. And you look at their life and go like, no, they just got into some argument with somebody, okay? They weren't very compassionate, but they can spout the principles. No, what they're talking about here is live your principles, walk the talk, live what you believe, be the example. How little we know is the next one. How little we know. God is infinite. God is infinite intelligence. Infinite means it has no beginning and no end. You, on the contrary, have a beginning and an end in this world, okay? So therefore, you don't know everything. But you know, you can go look it up on Google and you can see that you don't know everything because there's something that you did not know, okay? So anytime you start puffing yourself up thinking, I know it all, okay? Go to Google and find something that you did not know, all right? So how little we know, we have to be open to learning, to asking questions, to growing, to realizing people are coming from different places, different understandings, different cultures, different sets of beliefs, different DNA. And consequently, they may respond to you differently. They may live differently in the world than you are. And so sometimes when you find people are doing stuff, you have to ask them questions. Well, why did you do that? Well, why is not a good question. What led you to do that is a better question, because why gets them to be defensive. See, never ask a person a why question. Ask them, well, tell me more about that. What led you to that belief? What led you to that thought? You know, how is that working in your life? Those kinds of questions are much different. Don't ask the why questions, because you don't want to, you know, if you ask them why did you put that red dress on today? Well, I thought it might look good. Okay. I mean, they have to get into their reasons, and that doesn't cause them to think it doesn't. Okay. But if you ask them, you know, what made you think you look good in that red dress? They may think something different. Okay. All right. All right. So that's a little joke, but you know what I'm saying. Okay. All right. All right. So, that leads us into the next one, which is how should we speak to one another? Okay. Maybe we don't want to ask people about what they're wearing and what got them to wear that? And what made them think they looked good in that? Maybe those are not questions we need to ask them, okay? But how do we speak to one to them? We could practice kindness. We could think, is this something I would like someone to say to me? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Okay? Is this a question I would like someone to ask me? If it's not, don't ask it. Okay? But be kind. The next one is concern for everyone. Oneness is about doing unto others as you would have them do unto you. And that's concern for everybody. Concern for everybody. The next one is knowledge. Keep learning. Keep learning. If you don't know it all, guess what? There's more for you to learn. And so you know, the other place where you can learn is your intuition. You can begin to open yourself so that the divinity within you speaks to you and through you, and you're not here in the world by yourself with just whatever your ancestors and your DNA gave you. But instead, you're opening with your mindfulness and your awareness, you're opening to a larger consciousness and a larger awareness. And these are all choices that you get to make. And then the next step is recognition. And what I like about that, it's the first step of spiritual mind treatment. It's about recognizing that God is source. Do you see? That is the beginning. These are all our behaviors that we get to in order to recognize and realize that God is the beginning of it all. But sometimes we have to open our intuition. Sometimes we have to learn things. We have to practice things before we can get to a place where we start realizing I am that I am and know what it means and have it something that is actualized in our life. And the last one is love your enemies. Why is that the last one? Because it's probably the hardest. It's probably the hardest one to do. But that's what Jesus said, right? He said, love your enemies. Okay, he told us, who are the enemies? The people who don't agree with you. They don't have to be, somebody you're warring with. They could just be, your neighbor. And you're arguing about where the garbage can goes. Is it on your side or their side? How close to your mailbox or whatever? We have these little petty disagreements. These are our enemies as well. Okay, and we have to learn how to love our enemies. The person that Coco was talking about, on the freeway that she let in, she did a kindness, right? She showed some compassion, okay? And the person looked at her like, why? Because he's not used to having compassion expressed to him while he's driving. We get in our cars and we have all this metal or whatever it is that is around us, right? And we're in our own little cubicle, our own little world, and nothing else out there counts for anything. We are segregating ourselves, and everybody out there is an enemy if we look at them that way. Do you see? And so Coco said, no, I'm not an enemy. I'm a friend, and I will give you the right of way. Do you see? It is simple as that. It is simple as that. Now, what's that man's, how's that going to affect that man's rest of his day? I don't know. I don't care. It's not important. What's important is what Coco did, not what the man did. Do you see? Because what's important is who I am and how I relate to the world. The woman in the story that Lily read, she had seeds and she chose not to plant them. She had a seed for love and joy and happiness and peace and harmony and goodwill in the world. And she goes like, nah, I don't think I want to plant any of that. Well, guess what? She's going to wind up being somebody's enemy. Okay? Somebody's going to need to embrace her, even though she's in the world and not willing to plant the seed. We have to learn, excuse me, about compassion. But first we have to learn love, because compassion grows from love. Love is the seed, compassion is the flowers. Do you see? And these are the 12 steps on how to get there. And they lead to joy. They lead to joyful lives. You know, we have an election coming up on Tuesday, and by next Sunday, we will have either a president-elect or turmoil or both, okay? At any rate, some people are going to be happy and some people are going to be unhappy. So what we have then is what? The enemy's camp, okay? Because this side is going to say you're the enemy, and that side is going to say you're the enemy. And we are learning compassion. So when you find yourself relating to anybody this week, before or after the election, remember the lesson of today. Love is the byword, is the action, is the activity, and the truth from which you come. Do not fight with anybody about this stuff. Listen, just listen. Listen to their unhappiness or their happiness. Listen to how they're feeling. Listen to their fear or their joy. Listen. You don't have to get involved with it. You can be a compassionate, loving receptacle of peace through just listening. Just listening. Because here's the thing. How would you like it if you were on the other side? If what you got, I don't know who's going to win. I don't know. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. What matters is that we who have the consciousness and the awareness of love and compassion get to exercise it. Ernest Holmes defined love. Let me find this. I love this, and I always want to get it exactly the way he says it. Love is the self-givingness of the spirit through the desire of life to express itself in terms of creation. Creation is that which is new. Love is giving. Okay, not receiving, but giving. Love is the givingness of the spirit in you through your desire to have more life and express it in terms of creating new relationships. And you can do that by being compassionate this week, by being a listener, by caring. Because keep something in mind. Why is one side happy and the other side not happy? The unhappy side are in fear that it's not going to be the way they want it to be. And you know what? The winners are not necessarily going to get what they want either. We have seeds that are being planted, and we get to grow them by how we care for them, the consciousness we bring to them. And so let us this week and the weeks after practice compassion, practice love, realizing that we're all there, we're all this together. And today being Dia de los Muertos, let us remember all the people who have passed this year because of disease or because of illness or whatever it was that caused their death. Let's just be grateful that we're here, that we can celebrate life ourselves, that we know who we are as spiritual beings, and we can embrace all of those who are in our world. We see them not as enemies, but divine expressions of the living God. We recognize who they are, even when they don't know who they are. because that's the truth of who we are. Let us be mindful and take the action of loving instead of the action of fearing. Let's open our hearts and recognize the oneness and the truth of who we are and express it in the world. Let us walk the talk. And as we do, let's close our eyes and turn within and anchor these thoughts and these ideas and these words in our hearts and in our minds, anchoring them in such a way that on Monday we remember them, on Tuesday we remember them, on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all through the week, every moment of every day, we are in divine alignment with the truth of who and what we are. We are recognizing the oneness, even where it doesn't always seem to appear easily. We recognize and realize and know that we are love, and therefore we can co-create a new world, a beautiful world, a peaceful world, because we have the seeds and we have the awareness to grow those seeds into the plant that is one that is loving, one that nourishes all, one that yields kindness in our world. And so with this truth and knowing this and believing and recognizing that the spirit within us is the guide, the direction, the wholeness, the peace, and the joy that we are, we live this week choosing to be compassionate, choosing to be loving, choosing to remember who we are, choosing to grow the seeds of life and of love and compassion in our own hearts and in our world. And knowing this is the truth, we release these words now into the law of mind, knowing that they are already done, because in God, the compassion and love is already resident. It is all that is. God only knows love. And so as we release this word into the law of mind, consequently, only love can hear it, only love can manifest through it. And so it truly is. Amen. Thank you. Coco. You're on mute. Coco, you're on mute. Yeah.
Good, so you didn't hear that. There's a place where I know peace and love forever flow. In the center of me, and I'll give all my time to return to that divine feeling in my soul. For I have the key to that great mystery, and I'll freely share it with you. So just close your eyes and go with the flow, where all corners meet and rainbows hide, and shadows and light are illusions of sight. Now just bask in the warmth of the glory of love, and know you're in heaven right now. You are there. You're here in heaven right now. You are there. I am there. We are here. Can't hear you. Oh.
Thank you. That was a blessing. Thank you. That was a blessing. And that was a song written by one of our ministers years and years and years ago, before Coco and I, before our time. Okay, so let's see. And it's time for our offering. Marsha, take it away.
Awesome. Okay. Well, good morning, everyone. I get to once again share with you the many ways that you can support our center. Right now, we're saying that there are 3 ways that you can give. If you would like to give electronically, you may go ahead and give via PayPal. I put in the chat window the link that you could use. Also, the link shows up whenever we get our newsletters. You could also, if you'd rather go ahead and mail a check, you can mail a check to our mailing address. It's on the window, it's in the chat window, and it is also in the newsletters that we receive. And also, I always like to throw in there because, I know I'm an Amazon shopper, but if you are an Amazon shopper, Amazon has a program to give charitable donations. And all you have to do is first connect to Amazon through our Smile link, and that's in the chat window, also found in the newsletter. And once you say that, yes, CSL West Georgia is the charitable program that you'd like to connect with, all you have to do is, instead of going to Amazon.com, you go to smile.amazon.com, and you will see that, that CSL West Georgia is your charitable program that you're giving to. And then whatever you purchase when you go through smile.amazon.com, you don't have to pay anything extra, but Amazon takes a portion of your sales and sends it to our center. So that's a win-win. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and say our offering. I am grateful for the divine giving circulating abundantly through my life, our community, and our world. Thank you.
Okay, so let's see. Announcements. Today is our membership meeting. So please do stay. If you're coming to the meeting, don't log off. But you can turn off your sound and your video and do whatever you want to do, get some lunch or whatever, or get something to drink, and then come back on at 12:30. We'll start back at 12:30, and it should last no more than an hour and a half, okay? Sometimes people think, I don't need to go to a membership meeting, but you really do, because it really tells you about the community and what we've been doing this last year. And everybody is invited, whether you're a member or not. And if you're thinking about membership, you definitely want to show up. We realized in the last few months that we have not really given you good guidance in terms of how to become members. And so that's one of the things we're going to be working on in the coming year, is creating a pathway, a visible pathway to membership, and letting everybody know what it is. In the meantime, the newsletter, we have changed the weekly, what do we call it? Email that we've been sending out on Saturdays to give you the link for the Sunday services. We've turned that into a newsletter. And so you'll be getting a newsletter every week, which will have information other than just what's going on in church. For instance, if you saw the one from yesterday, you saw that there were some things from United, that's going back. It's because of you, Coco. All right, it's CSL, what CSL activities are on there too. For instance, they have a Monday prayer activity that they do every week, every month. So there's our new newsletter. And isn't that pretty? Yes. Okay. And then the journals, our journals are coming out. Some of you bought journals this year. They are also coming out again. They are available for purchase now. So, we're going to be creating a form that you can go on our website or on our newsletter and choose to download and get a journal. So you want to do that because, the mails are slower, and it may take longer to get from Denver to us to you. So be sure and put your order in early if that's something that you want to do. And I encourage you to do it. I mean, did those of you that have the journals this year, do you like them? Okay. All right, good. All right, so let's see the journals and the board meeting today. And I think that is all of our announcements. Yeah, Kathy Mathis just waved hers in front of us. Yes. So please do remember to put your order in when it's time, and so that you'll have it by January. All right. And I think those are all of our announcements today, unless somebody else has something else. Yes. Does it still give you? Yes, it does still give you the Zoom information. Yeah, it will. So you can use that as the link, in the morning. And I am going to try and get the information to Marcia that we need when she needs to make changes so that we can get it out on Friday instead of Saturday afternoon. Okay. All right. I think that is it for today. And Marcia, do you have a video for us? Yeah. Not that, yeah, that one there. Okay.
Some believe it's right to say Jesus when you pray. Some believe Muhammad, Allah, or Buddha are the way. Is there no God or a pantheon of gods up in the sky? I'll honor your choices and you can honor mine. Whether you are red, black, yellow, brown, or white, a man with a husband or a woman with a wife, we can debate till the end of time who's wrong and who is right. Or I can honor your choices and you can honor mine. We all want the same things from life. We want peace, love, and prosperity. But can we give up our need to be right? Give the world a present, give the gift of your acceptance. Give the world a present, give the gift of your acceptance. Some believe that God's a him and some say he's a her. Does God live here in our hearts or out in the universe? Gandhi was a Hindu, Martin Luther King a Christian. Regardless of religion, they knew love was the mission. They call you Israeli and they call me an American. I look at you and I don't see a country, I just see my friend. I pray we're in each other's lives for a long, long time, 'cause I honor your choices and you honor mine. We all want the same things from life. We want peace, love, and prosperity. Can we give up our need to be right? gift of your acceptance. Thank you.
Okay, that was India Ari singing at the Nobel Peace Prize concert, I think in 2011 or something like that. Yeah, it's a great song. You can find it on YouTube. Just search for India Ari, A-R-I-E, and The Gift of Your Acceptance is the name of the song. Yeah, okay. All right. Thank you so very much for being here today. It's lovely to see you all. I think we're going to have a great, does everybody have power? I guess you all have power. You wouldn't be on the call today. My granddaughter has been out of power since last Wednesday, and they're not supposed to have it on until Monday. So she's been having a great time trying to stay away from me. So she doesn't have to spread anything. Okay, so I'll see you in a few minutes. Everybody, let's, Marsha. Okay. We go forth today knowing that we are God's blessing in the world. Only good goes from us and only good comes to us. And so it is. We are compassionate beings living a life of kindness and joy. And so just turn off when you're ready, and